Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kenshin, and today we will be discussing a controversial issue in the video gaming community right now. No, we're not talking about Gamergate. We're not talking about Ubisoft. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about a little something that, to me, seems kind of hypocritical. Listen here, alright? Now, whether you've seen the trailer or not, you've almost certainly heard about a little upcoming game coming out in Q2 of 2015 called Hatred. Now, if you haven't seen the trailer, I'll provide a link to it right up there. Go ahead and check that out. But for those of you who just don't want to waste the time or will check it out afterwards, the trailer is all in a monochrome, black and white, save for the red blood. If you've seen Sin City, you're familiar with this type of filter. Now the trailer begins with, generic pissed off protagonist number 5 with, the long black hair, sort of in this crummy looking house talking, giving this really dark monologue all about how much he hates the world and wants to kill everyone and wants to die. And as he's saying that, he's fucking loading up a machine gun or an assault rifle, got a knife and grenades and stuff. And, he's delivering this monologue that sounds like it comes out of a 14-year-old, an angsty 14-year-old's diary. And then, he says, it's time to kill, it's time for me to die. He kicks open the door to the outside. My genocide begins here now. And just the rest of the trailer is this fella just massacring and brutalizing people in the modern world in absolutely very violent and disturbing ways. And, now, when I saw this trailer, well, I heard the name Hatred, and I got kind of excited. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. What could this game hold for us? So I took a look at the trailer. Now, I was one of the first 300 people to check that out, so a lot of people hadn't gotten a chance to ring in on their opinions. I gave it a like. I watched it through, and, aside from the melodramatic voice acting and the excessively dark monologue, I was like, yeah, man, this looks like a fun game. This looks cool. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if it's me, but I think it looks like fun. All right? Like, I just think, it doesn't look like anything that's going to win Game of the Year for extreme depth and innovative gameplay, because, it's like this isometric shooter kind of thing. But that aside, it looks like it's a fun game. One of those games that you go home and you boot up and, you just go around shooting the shit out of people and taking your aggression out. That asshole who pissed you off at the grocery store, go and massacre a fucking grocery store in the game. That bitch who cut you off the road, go ahead and go in the game and kill her whole family. Alright? It's just another way of taking out our aggression in a video game. But now, it's been probably a week, couple days, I'm not sure, since this trailer launched. And the backlash for it has been insane. Epic Games has asked for their logo to be removed from the game, as well as the Unreal 4 logo, which was never, licensed to begin with. The engine is free to use and develop on, but the logo wasn't. And NYPD have asked for their emblems, their trademark thing to be removed as well, because they don't want to be associated in any way with this game. People have been outcrying it, saying it's a glorification of violence and gore and depravity. Let's talk about that, all right? Now, before you all go into the comments and start saying, "Oh, you're a hypocrite. You just said it's cool. What are you on about?" That's exactly what we're going to be talking about, so hold your fucking horses, alright? Let's think about things here. Grand Theft Auto, right? GTA 5. Most likely going to get Game of the Year this year. I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet because there has not been a PC port. There will be soon in 2015, and I'll be playing and having a blast with it. Grand Theft Auto has evolved from a franchise that, in the beginning, was about stealing cars, completing missions with those stolen cars, and killing every motherfucker who got in your way. And of course, GTA 1 incensed the shit out of people. They were, a lot of people were appalled
mainly parents and bleeding hearts and liberals and conservatives. Everyone was appalled. Everyone was like, oh my god, this is going to lead to the destruction of our youth! Ah! You have it progress, and then of course GTA it has the tagline being the game where you go and kill cops, fuck hookers, and then kill them. But then as GTA began to enter the new generation, you saw with games like GTA San Andreas and GTA 4, that these games were now trying to get a step above the nonsense of, the content that was present in the other games. Now, of course, it's still standard GTA fare. Of course, you could do whatever you want, go anywhere you want, kill whoever the fuck you want, steal what you want. It's your world. Handle it the way you want to. That was the original GTA premise, and that's why GTA is such a hallmark, landmark franchise to this day, is because it truly embodied the open world, do what the fuck you want concept. And it's great. And of course, you had controversies like the hot coffee mod, as well as some other things. People still complain every time a new GTA comes out. But there really wasn't as... GTA San Andreas got a lot. GTA 4 not so much. GTA 5, well, that was, basically released free of controversy from what I've seen. It just sort of happened and all the gamers were fucking thrilled because it was truly a next step in the next gen of GTA. And GTA sort of has evolved itself to being even more of a story-intensive experience, what with the wide open world and ability to do what you'd like freely. There's also, Rockstar has become known as telling amazing stories with great characters and a clever sense of humor. And so they've sort of turned into this really amazing AAA company. But yet you don't hear anyone panning a game like GTA these days. Can you go and fuck a hooker and then kill him? Sure. Can you massacre an entire town? Absolutely. Can you get the fucking feds on your ass while you're gunning down cops over and over and starting gang wars and on the run with a 5-star wanted level doing crazy shit while tanks are being sent after you? Of course, that's the way GTA gets down. But it seems like no one cares about that anymore. It's there, it happens. GTA, the name's synonymous with it. But because there's a story and more likable characters, everyone's willing to overlook the core violence that GTA was based off of. So here's the thing. All that stuff in GTA is okay because we have other elements in the game. That seems to be what I'm getting from the mass media of things, of the gamer world. But let's rewind to the origins of GTA, the very violent origins of it. Now, even then, the first game, while it still has sort of whacked sense of humor, the core of it wasn't about telling some engrossing, intensive story. It was just about stealing shit and fucking shit up. That was the GTA tagline. That was the deal. And while the adults and everyone else panned it, the kids, the teenagers, they fucking loved it. It was the jam. They loved it. There's a reason that GTA changed from some top-down experiment to the mammoth franchise as we know it today. There's a reason that happened. But why is it that back in the day people were willing to say how amazing GTA was when it was merely just based on violence, but yet now we're looking at a game like Hatred and panning it and pissing all over it because it is once again purely focused on violence? What's the deal there? Why are people willing to look the other way for a game like the first GTA or even the series as a whole now, but yet when a game is focused on it, like the first one of the GTA series was, people are just sort of like, GTA, yeah, that's cool. But Hatred, oh no, we can't have a game like that where you're killing wantonly innocent people. We can't do that. That's wrong. Call of Duty, right? Every year a new Call of Duty game. That's how it goes. Of course it sucks. But the body count just rises and rises more and more with each year. Whether it be in the single player campaign or in the multiplayer. Now, some people could argue that the single player, all the killing in that, is for a story, because Hatred doesn't appear to have much of a story. It's just an angry guy killing people. We don't know the rest of it at this point. But the thing is, the multiplayer, the thing that Call of Duty has made its name off of, what's that? There's no story. There's no goal. It's just about killing every last motherfucker you can and getting the highest score, as violently and as effectively as possible, using all manners of weapons of destruction. Now I know about you, but that sounds a lot like Hatred. But see, the thing is, Call of Duty tries to disguise it in some AAA action title. Hatred makes no qualms about it. It's a game about being fucking pissed off and massacring everybody. Okay? They don't try and disguise it. But here's the thing, because Call of Duty tries to disguise it, it's considered this lauded and perfect franchise. Well, if you're a bonehead. It's considered some cinematic masterpiece because you raped that noob whose mom you fucked last night in Nuketown. So in Call of Duty, it's perfectly okay to go and do that to everyone. Why? Well, because these game developers hand over money and they know that kids like bang bang shooty shooty. Was it because it's not the focus of it like Hatred seems to be? That doesn't seem like it. Call of Duty, what do you have unless you're killing and shooting and stabbing and blowing people up? You don't have any shooter game without that. And yet you still have Game of the Year awards for the fucking series all the time, even though it doesn't deserve it. It tries to say it's something that it isn't. Hatred makes no qualms about what it is. It's violent, it's brutal, it's gory, it's in your fucking face, and I like it. Let's look at another game. Manhunt, another Rockstar title. This one focused completely and entirely on violence and the goriest, most violent, gruesome killing possible in the game. That's the focus. You want to get the most gruesome executions possible in it. Manhunt is fucked up in all sorts of ways. The first one and the second one, which if you've never played them, I recommend them. They're both very good games, stealth games and just games in general. They tell good stories. The second one I found to actually be a very disturbing, very well-written story. And the beta and uncut versions of it are fantastic. Now those games focus centrally on violence and grimdark gore and gritty intensity. Now once again, of course, you have the parents and the politicians who complain, saying these games are tearing us apart, Lisa. But yet you look, and people love Manhunt. I love Manhunt. I think it's great. It's different and it's fun. And let's be honest, anyone who's ever played a game where you get to kill people, which is just about every fucking game there is, doesn't matter if it's Kingdom Hearts or Postal, it's fun. Defeating your enemies in a satisfying way is fun. And Manhunt makes that quite clear when you see some over-the-top execution where one of my favorites, you throw a guy in a fucking dentist chair where he's torturing someone, you stab him in there with scalpels so he can't move, and then, fucking stick a drill thing in his face and his eyes and fucking stick it in his mouth and choke him to death on it. He's gagging on his own blood. That's satisfying. I think it's great. It's fucking great. It's fun. Again, is it Game of the Year material? No. But is it fun? Was it worth my time? Yes. And did people say, well, yeah, it's fun? Many people have admitted to that. And Manhunt has a cult following. I'm part of it. I love the games. And aside from the controversies that you occasionally heard in the bigger media, as far as the way gamers felt about it, for the most part, I was like, yeah, Manhunt, whether people liked the game or not, was a different thing. But you didn't hear many gamers being sort of incensed and appalled by the content. Let's take another game here. One that really, that almost focuses solely on it. I just mentioned it. Postal. The Postal series. Now, Hatred is... I think anyone who's seen that trailer and anyone who's familiar with the Postal series will immediately be able to form a connection between Postal 1, the original game that started it all, and Hatred. It's an isometric shooter where you just go about killing everybody in the most violent way you can. Obviously, Hatred now is many years later, with a lot better technology, and where the idea of mass shootings and violence seems a lot, oh no, so much worse is happening in a video game. But yeah, we're okay with it happening in movies all the time. Postal is a great game. Now again, some people could say, oh well, you can make an excuse for it with the oddball humor. And of course, the humor in it is great. But that's probably one of the most depraved of the violent games out there. It's a game that lets you fucking piss on someone, you know, then tase them, kick the shit out of them, piss on them again, smash their head off, and then go and play fetch with it with a dog. Now, the thing is, it's kept in a lighthearted tone. It's never a sort of serious thing. It's not meant to... Postal was never meant to be taken seriously. That was the idea. Manhunt was serious. Postal was not. Postal, you could hack up an enemy in a ridiculous amount of ways. You know, you could cut them into so many pieces they would look like a filet dinner. Intestines, everything. The pissing, the gonorrhea, the coming, the flame piss, flamethrowers. And with mods, you would have flamethrowers, you would have WMDs, you would have like the weapons from Hellsing, you would have the chain gun from Doom, you would have fucking everything. You know, ridiculous, even like a dildo. Yeah, look at Saints Row even. What, that's like GTA, even more ridiculous ways to massacre and kill people. But, you know, no one seems to care much more anymore because it's done in a ridiculous comedic way. But again, to the Manhunt thing, where it's clearly not ridiculous and comedic, you get controversy from the people who always piss and moan about things, but the gamers always thought it was awesome. You know, just like Postal. Cult following. Love it. Postal 3 kind of sucked. Hatred looks like what Postal 3 should have been, so I'm excited for that. But now, another ultra-violent game, Mortal Kombat, the very original. There was zero story to that game. You worked your way up through a tournament to get to the top guy, whatever his fucking name was. I suck at Mortal Kombat. I've never even gotten close. You work your way up through the tournament, and that's that. Mortal Kombat, of course, introduced us to fatalities and all of the wonderful, gory sprite action that comes with it. It's also the game that gave us the ESRB, as we all know. The reason that if you're not 17, you can't buy an M-rated game, despite the fact that we have 12-year-olds shouting about the things they did to your mother last night while playing Call of Duty, which, may I add, is a 17 and older game. Do I think that the content of Call of Duty is inappropriate if you're under 17? Fuck no. It's not that inappropriate. Kids have seen people getting shot and dying all the time. Should you let a little kid play Call of Duty? No. But I think about once the time you're 12 or 13, Call of Duty is enough. You can handle it. But going online with it's a different story, and it's got to be in moderation. You've got kids screaming at other people about how they fucked your mother. Maybe you shouldn't be playing Call of Duty at all, because he's obviously not mature enough to handle the subject matter. But, or a game like Prototype, you know, or Mortal Kombat or Prototype, both games that were about over-the-top violence. And now Prototype, once again, had a story. It was an excuse, but that didn't get panned too much. Mortal Kombat did. But the thing is, the gamers loved it. Mortal Kombat is considered a classic and a classic series at this point. Understandably so. It's a great game. I suck at fighting games, granted, but the point remains. Now, there was nothing much else to that game besides fighting and beating the shit out of each other and the fatalities. Cool characters and everything else aside, it was all about the gore and the violence and the fighting. That's why people played it. That's what they wanted to see. Anyone who denies that, well, you're full of shit. So all of these games, whether they were critically acclaimed, whether they were hated on by parents and politicians, all of them seemed to... Gamers were just like, okay, that looks cool. But all of a sudden, a game like Hatred, because it makes no qualms about its content, because we're in some modern setting where everyone's afraid of these things all of a sudden, despite the fact that everyone is amped out the ass about the new Cock of Duty game, you know, modern gay fuck stupid, everyone is like so hyped about that, they're totally ignoring the content of that is really no different from hatred. Yeah, sure, in hatred you're killing screaming, dying innocents, but the thing is, regardless, it's still a game where you shoot the shit at people and kill people. It's just because people are suddenly, because hatred makes no qualms about it, because it presents itself in a very grim, dark, gritty, violent, gruesome thing, people are suddenly freaking out about violence in this game. Gamers are doing it. You know, not even the parents and politicians yet. It's the gamers. But that's kind of odd because these are the same people, for the most part, that are willing to play games like Call of Duty, like Postal, like Manhunt, like GTA. But when all of a sudden the violence becomes the central aspect of it, despite the fact that's what it is already, but when they're not trying to cover that up, all of a sudden people start losing their minds. That's really stupid and silly, don't you think? Now, I, for one, think hatred is going to be awesome. You know, I'm really expecting something fun with it. I'm expecting something that will really let me get out my aggressions by having something as realistic and close to the reality of things as possible, where murder and death and gore and violence are just taken to an extreme, where you feel real in this setting, where people and everyone react realistically. The screaming, the begging, the pleading, the destruction of innocent life in this video game, that looks fucking fun. And it could get something very interesting in there where if they do choose to build a story around it, which I do hope they do, where we can really get inside our character's head and enter this dark and depressed world where the only options seem to be suicide and genocide. And we could enter a world where the darkest things are real. Drug addiction, self-mutilation, all sorts of addictions and obsessions, mental illness like schizophrenia or split personality disorder. Where the darker concepts of things that are encountered in our life, addictions and psychology, and awful thoughts and actions, where the dark side of humanity truly rears its ugly head. Because if hatred is clearly trying to be about rage and anger and violence, then why not step it up? Why not tear open the rotting corpse of depravity and show just how fucked up we can be as humans? Get inside this motherfucker's head and truly see something horrid and awful. Now, I think that would also even maybe redeem this game in other people's eyes, because then they'd see some attempt at telling a deeper story. I don't know how it's going to be held, and I don't think that will be the idea of it. It's just going to be straight violence. But I'm sure there will be some play into it. But regardless of what it is, it's a game that is making no qualms about the fact that it's a violent video game. But yet, every game we play is violent anyways. But because this is making it clear it's the focus of it, instead of putting some monikers and guises on it, people are freaking out. And that's bullshit. Hatred is probably just, I'm not sure how it's going to fare in the end, but it's just going to be another video game full of violence. But the thing is, it looks fucking great in my eyes. It looks fucking fun. I can't wait to get my hands on this thing. I want to let's play this thing and fucking kill every last motherfucker in my way in gory, violent, and brutal ways. I want to watch them suffer. It looks fucking fun. People who are bitching and complaining about this, the thing is, it's a motherfucking game, alright? It ain't real. If you don't like it, don't play it, don't watch the trailer. You don't have to do any of that. No one's forcing you to, alright? Yeah, it's a glorification of violence, but every video game is. Every other video game that glorifies violence just throws some stuff on to cover it up. It's like the big dick that is, being tucked into the leg, Did you get what I'm saying? It's hiding the power of the cock. This thing is like, what up? I got a big dick. It's not trying to hide it. But suddenly people are being incensed by that because now it's out in the open, despite the fact that you could clearly see it protruding out of the leg otherwise. Bottom line, Hatred looks like a fucking awesome video game, and I can't wait to play it. I would really like to see it in first person, but that's up to the developers. I'm sure it's going to be isometric. I just love the first person view because it really gets me into the character.
Bottom line of the bottom lines, Hatred looks fucking great. If the devs are watching this, keep it the fuck up. I can't wait to play this fucking awesome game. And the rest of you that are getting incensed about it, take a look at the other games you play and realize it's not that much different. And if you really are just gonna be a piss ass about it, it's just a fucking game. It's not affecting you. So go fuck yourself. Other than that, can't wait to play it. Destructive Games, I like what you're doing. Can't wait to see the final product. My name is Kenshin, and I'm peacing the fuck out. I'll see you guys later.